Da 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 da. Whoa. Da 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 da.
Great pleasure to present to you the voices of tomorrow. Youth Belong.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Ty Michelle. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm a volunteer here at Youth Belong. I want to take a moment to go down and let everyone introduce themselves before we start the panel.
Good afternoon. My name is Richard Mabry. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I work with Youth Belong.
Hi guys, my name is Storm. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm a housing locator for veterans as well as a youth project coordinator. And my passion is to ensure the wellness of Black people by providing experiences that allow them to tap into their joy and centeredness. I do this by curating unfiltered conversations and cultivating community events which prompts change. I am here today to have a dialogue amongst these Black writers and see for yourself.
Hi, my name is Lexi Markham. I'm on the Youth Belong staff, I suppose. I'm also an Atlanta Youth Poet Laureate, and I'm here today to join these lovely people and be with friends.
Hi everybody, my name is Treasure. My pronouns are she and they. I am a poet, an artist, and I'm on the Youth Belong panel. And I really just want to see great change and great advancement in the state of the queer and Black community, especially here in Atlanta, because this is my home, big Georgia.
Perfect. So I want to go around and I want to start with the first question is what motivated or what got you all into creating, rather if it was writing or painting, what started you?
What started me into drawing and painting? What started me into drawing and painting was my family members around me. Really, me just viewing my family members painting and creativity and just art really just drive me into wanting to do what they do, and that's what got me into what I do now.
So I am a writer, aspiring screenwriter, and what got me into writing was just trying to escape the regular world, trying to just find my voice, find my footing, and turn in a hobby into something that I want to pursue as like my career.
So I've always been drawn to the arts, specifically writing, but what really got me like obsessed with writing was when I realized that was frustration with other people trying to tell me who I was and put labels on me that didn't belong. And I just felt that the only way I could express myself was to tell my own story, and that's the only way people could see who I really am.
Okay, so what got me into art in general is a story. In middle school, in 6th grade specifically, there was this girl I really, really liked, and she drew really well. And I thought, well, if I'm really good at art, she'll like me too. That's not what happened, and it's probably like the most sapphic thing I've ever told anybody. But honestly, after that, I just liked it. Like, it wasn't for anybody else. It became a thing that I could do for me. And so I kept writing, I kept drawing, and eventually it became like a part of my identity, a part of who I am to create. So.
I really like that. I relate with all of you, especially you, Treasure. In 6th grade, I had a teacher, my language arts teacher, and she said, all right, we're going to write about a flip fairy tale. Pick your favorite fairy tale. And of course, me, I'm like, okay, Princess and the Frog or Little Mermaid. She said, now pick the villain and write from their point of view. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this now. It's not fun. And I did Ursula, and I wrote it, and it was amazing. And I was like, ooh, what else can I do? I like this. Okay, so how has your work evolved over time? How has it grown with you?
My work over time has really evolved with me, really, because it has way more. It went from me making things that like really didn't represent me to me now making things that like, you know, expresses how I feel, expresses, you know, things that my words can't express. It really has grown to
Honor you.
yeah, honor me in that point.
I think my work has evolved just by me learning things and incorporating as I go along. So learning new theories, reading other artists' novels, screenwrites, or anything, kind of just being a sponge to the world and kind of formulating it into my writing, and whether I notice it or not, or it's being intentional or not. Like for right now, I'm trying to get through the Bible because I want to create a story that's very biblical, but still nonfiction. So I'm figuring it out as I go along.
I think my writing's definitely gotten much more personal. At first, I was afraid to write anything that I felt was real, anything like not in my imagination or fictional, and my writing's just gotten more personal and expressive of myself, and I've become more comfortable sharing with other people.
Okay, so this is kind of a difficult question for me, but I feel like over time, my writing has reflected my interest. So like when COVID hit, my writing was all about like everything I saw on the news, everything that was happening at the time, like on everything being online. And then after that, my writing was about like nostalgia and all those kid shows that got canceled and all the stuff I can no longer watch and all the books I can no longer read. And now it's more like introspective because I'm thinking about my future, thinking about where I'm going. So that's what all my writing's been about lately. So it really is like me it's a timestamp of me. That's what my writing is.
I really like that timestamp of you. That's a word. So can we take a moment and tell me about a triumph in your career that you're particularly proud of?
Something I'm particularly proud of. Something I'm particularly proud of, and what I do is like just really seeing the outcome and the growth of how I started and how it's going, and what I am at now. That's really just a reward in itself. That
Uh, Something that's I guess mastering public speaking for me. Learning how to communicate without being nervous and staying firm within myself and without allowing my voice to crack, and just like keeping the audience attention. And yeah, definitely public speaking, because that's something that it took me a while to conquer. Like I used to always get very nervous, very sweaty, and I will back out before I even have a chance to do it. So that definitely is my triumph.
I think for me, being able to be more open and vulnerable in my works helps me do it in real life and just feel like a more real, full person and form deeper connections in being able to be honest.
I think my biggest triumph, writing-wise, is being able to think like a writer. And that doesn't make a lot of sense, but like up until recently, whenever I write something, it'd be like something about me, something that I experienced personally. But now I can look at other people and I can empathize with what they got going on. And when I'm writing a story, it's not just about me, or it's not just about the situation I'm in. It's about that couple who was roller skating, or it's about the girl who looked cool walking out of McDonald's. It's about it's about everything that's going on in the world around me, and also everything that's happening right in front of me. So it's thinking like a writer to me is like being able to take the world around you and condensing it into something beautiful and meaningful. And I think that's my biggest triumph.
Beautiful. Those are beautiful answers from all of you. How would you say the queer community influenced your work, or has played a role in influencing your, especially with the work you have? If you want to explain that right there.
Okay, like I don't know how to particularly say this, but I can really reference my picture that I just recently did in the back. It really just shows like you looking deep down and then revealing your true colors, and really helping others to see your true colors, and helping others to accept and know. And just in a way, that's I don't really know how to, you know, but that's really what it's about. That's really what, you know, encouraged me to make stuff like this.
Can you repeat the question for me, Tyler?
Yes, give me a second. How has the queer community influenced any of your work?
So I think the public, America, would like to silence the queer community. So it influenced my work by giving us a voice and making our voice known throughout my projects, throughout my writing, or whatever I'm working on at the time. And just making it apparent that I was talking about this earlier. So when you read other novels, the main character, you always assume is white. And I think for my writing, I want my audience, my readers, to assume that the main character is black without having to say it, because that's the first thing we go to when you read R.L. Stein or Judy Blume, anything within that, you know, space. So that's how I take queerness into my writing and kind of flow throughout.
That's kind of a hard question to answer, but I think I take it in a way of being unapologetic and being yourself, and understanding that not everyone's gonna agree with that or accept that, and that it's okay to not have everybody think the same way as you or accept you for who you are, and you just kind of have to keep going.
Okay, so I think being queer and making art are like two things that hit me at the same time. Like right in middle school, it was just like, oh, dang, women? And also, oh yeah, you can like make whatever you want. And so they've always been like sort of intertwined. So it's always been, if I want to create something, why isn't the character gay? Or if I want to draw something, why isn't that person trans? And so it's always been no question to me, like intrinsically to me. Being queer, my queer identity is linked to everything that I create and everything that I make.
Perfect. Okay. So, how do you navigate staying true to yourself in a world that often tries to silence it? And how would you encourage other people to do the same?
A way I would try to stay true to myself and not let others try to dim my light is like, you know, forget about what everyone else thinks. What do you think? How does that make you feel? Don't worry about how others view it. Worry how you view it. Don't think about, you know, should I make this? If I make this, would it make me someone of target? Just make it. Just, you know, create it. Strive. Just do it. Don't think about anybody else's point of view or perspective on it. Just make it there.
Repeat it one more time.
How do you navigate staying true to yourself, and how would you encourage other people to do the same?
I feel like that's a hard question. Well, just being honest with yourself, creating something without thinking about how the audience would perceive it, even if it's dark. Um, just kind of go with the flow. Go with wherever your imagination, your creativeness is taking you, and just follow that through. And don't think about it halfway through. Don't think, oh, it's not good enough, or oh, I could do this better. Just kind of go with it, and then you can work out the kinks later. So I think that's how I stay true to my art, just getting it out. And how can I encourage others? Yeah, don't listen to the outside noise. Don't listen to your own self-doubt. Take doubt out of it, because if you carry that, it will come out through your work, and then you may not reach the heights that you're trying to reach. So just take it out and believe where you want to be and stay there. Stay in that mindset.
I think write for yourself first. Like, what do you need to see? What do you need to say? And if you want to like look back on it and you're like, oh, I want to share this, then think about other people, but never when you're really trying to get something off your chest or when you're trying to write.
Okay, so I'm always I'm a very big, loud person, right? I'm I when it comes to self-doubt and like wanting to be yourself, it's been an issue for me, but it's always an issue that I just like, that's not something we deal with here. I'm gonna keep screaming what I want to say. I'm gonna keep yelling to the heavens and yelling to God. Oh yeah, I'm gay and I like this and I like that and it's so fun. And I know not everybody's like that, but to encourage people, I really say be the loudest voice in the room, the loudest voice of support in the room, right? People are always gonna have things going on in their head. They're always gonna have things going on around them in their community, even like online and stuff. But as long as you there with them in a one-to-one setting are the person who's like, go for it, do it, be yourself, be everything that I know you can be. As long as you're that confident in them, as long as you're that loud in like energy and spirit, I know they'll get the message that, hey, it's not that bad to be somebody that is queer or be somebody like me, right? And so really it's about fostering like energy and getting people to like care for themselves as much as you care for them.
Can I add one more thing? And I also think I read this somewhere and I agree. Do not believe anything about yourself after 9 p.m. Do not just don't think about the day. Don't overthink it. Just go to sleep.
I think I need that on a poster. I'm not sure about y'all, but I think I need that one. And last question before we get to sharing our pieces. What message or impact do you hope to leave with all your art?
A message or impact I will hope to leave with my art is just a voice for all. An impact I would like to leave is just like, you know, like the hair. Your hair is never nothing wrong with your hair. Black hair is just beautiful. Being queer is beautiful. There's nothing wrong with it. I would just like to leave, you know, I want to leave a message that makes people happy. It makes people believe. It makes, like, you know, the world revolve and all that.
An impact I would like to leave. So I am pitching this idea. So I want to create a film where everything is reverse based off of race. So I want the beginning to be 4 little white girls in a church and it's getting bombed. And I just want the impact of unhinge, of something that's never thought of something that may create anger from all races. And I'm okay with that. And I just want people to kind of get out of the norm. And maybe even I think it may help with racism, whether we want to believe racism is alive or not. It definitely is. And I think just seeing the narrative switch like that, it may invoke something with others to actually maybe dead racism, because it is very pointless.
I think I want to leave the message that you that no person is one thing. We're like a collage of millions of different aspects of our identity and moments and people, and it's okay if you don't feel complete or whole or like everything inside you is perfect, because it's not, and just a feeling of having it, being okay with being human and having flaws.
Sorry. There was definitely a time in my life where I thought I was forgettable, like a background character or something. And so with everything that I create, it's always giving a piece of me up to the world. I want to leave a message that says, I'm here. I was here. I lived. I burned. And I was wonderful doing it. And I really just want to be seen. Not even by a particular person or by the world even. I want to see myself and see myself reflected in the things that I create.
That's beautiful. I know with my writing, I want it to be, I don't have to be a reflection of my unhealed trauma. So I want to take a moment and I want to thank all of you so much for being here. And who would like to go first at sharing a piece of their writing? We're going to do rock, paper, scissors, something. Okay. Someone's going to think of a number. We're going to
She got it. We can just go in order. Okay.
No, you always get the pressure of having to start first.
Okay. My
Oh, I don't write. I don't
He's
write.
the painter.
You're a painter.
Oh, you want me to
your
present
painting?
it? I can. This is something I created backstage, just backstage now. So this took me, open the chair. Oh, thank you.
Sorry.
So this took me an hour, this fast for me. But it really represents, like, you know, opening up your heart to, you know, true colors and like yourself. The big hair represents like healthy black hair. Like, you see how it's just, you know, there's nothing the same about it. Then it's just like the shading and all of that. That's really what that is. You know.
So I will share two quick poems from my memoir. So here goes. Heart wrench, blood spatter on the corner store glass, brain matter across the cream square tiles that once used to be white. Owners only caring about the money that will not be made, them orders that won't be sent out. It's a loss to them. Not a single care about the lifeless black body who once was a daughter, a mother, a sister, and an aunt. That's a loss for us. Wrench heart. Thank you. And my second piece, thank you guys. Thank you. My chest collapsed. My gaze left their eyes. The night sky looked welcoming. The full moon so bright. All stars. The sky looked beautiful, and I wish it could swallow me whole and return me to my mother in half.
So this is a piece I wrote about how I feel other people perceive me, especially in school environments. Even the moon can't decide how much she wants to give, fading in and out, always there, a body not seen. Everyone has their own interpretation of what she is, a giant mass of rock, a large eye, gazing into the private human life, or an American accomplishment. The moon is a projection of your ideas and stereotypes, and that's fine, but no one knows what the moon really is. How much am I supposed to give? I will scratch until a hole in my flesh appears and red liquid trickles down to show you that my body can create art without my even knowing. How much am I supposed to give? I was born with so much ink in me and strength in my flesh. You know what I want to ask. At school, I'm known as the kid who went to the mental hospital. And that's part of the truth. But I also survived. I was the youngest kid and inpatient at 13, but I'm also 3 years clean. I too am a mirror. I give the marrow in my bones to feed my poetry and the neurons in my brain to chemistry and algebra. And I wonder if you will ever see anything you don't want to. Maybe we're all born mirrors. And it's the fault of the moon, because after all these years, what if the moon doesn't know who she is either? Or maybe she's all the people who looked at her and wanted her to be something.
I also feel like a jerk because mine's probably the longest. This is a short story that's published in my school's magazine. It's called A Loveless Cycle. I always end up in the same place. Late nights, cloudy skies, blurry sights and memories. The night is always the same. Cool, breezy, the smell of rain in the air, the cicadas and crickets chirping about. The situation is always the same. A small road dividing me and a red house across the road. The red house is filled with love, light, and family, and my own tan house behind me is dark, lonely, and withering. My decision is always the same. I look at the red house longingly while standing at the edge of the road. I will my feet to move, but they don't. I give up and I turn back, going into my tan house where the darkness swallows me whole once I shut the door. This dream played on repeat for years and years and years. Today, however, it didn't come to me. I wasn't assaulted by cold winds, the jealousy of the family in the red house, or consumed by the solemn darkness. It was strange, a rather queer, almost impossible occurrence. Despite its likelihood, it gave me hope. Hope that today will be new, fresh, and interesting. I was feeling adventurous in a way I never have. I was ready for the improbable, the truly impossible. I was prepared to live and die and do it all over again. Today was just different. With that mindset, I got ready with vigor. I walked to my place of work, a dull gray office building, picked up coffee and a crepe from the downstairs cafe, and ate a bit in the elevator. I went up to the 7th floor of this 28-floor building. I traveled to my desk, a 48-inch by 24-inch desk that stood a couple feet off the ground. I sat in my old squeaky chair with a nice butt cushion. My closest coworkers, Joshua, L'Oreal, and Alex, stood around, or if they were Alex, sat on my desk. They talked about their weekends off, and I worked overtime because I had nothing better to do. They complained that I would never date, that I was doomed to die, a loveless virgin. It's not that I wouldn't date anyone, it's just that I haven't found the one. I wanted someone to build a home with, to raise children with, to grow old with. My friends thought it was too basic. Hours of working had passed, and our lunch hour break came around. Instead of following my crew wherever they went, I walked through the park. It was a beautiful day. There was an ice cream parlor in my path, and I got some vanilla. While carrying several containers of the frosty cool dessert, I ran on a particular scene, a couple with a kid. But that wasn't the odd part. The odd thing was the confused look they gave me. They looked as if they were familiar. It was a look of recognition. And they did know me, for I knew them. I knew they were the ones in the red house, both in the dream and as of right now. I grew up in that bleak tan house with joyful neighbors just across the road. They must be my new neighbors. They must find me bizarre, baffling. The gall I must have to ignore their presence for months, only to gawk at them in the streets. I was nervous and stressed. I felt anxiety build in my stomach. They walked over to me with zero malice or bad intent. They weren't bad people. They talked to me politely and questioned why I haven't met them yet. The longer we spoke, the more I realized two things. There was no reason for me to be nervous. They were kind, truly. And this couple was very attractive. Thinking on it, though, that's the way of the world. Pretty people date pretty people, and ugly people date ugly. And and though I don't think I'm hideous, I know those who would say I'm pretty ugly. Or maybe an ugly kind of pretty. Despite this philosophy, I can't help but feel as if I'm being stared at by such beautiful gazes. Me, the couple, and the child being the only ones in the street. I got this strange feeling. But then I remembered my break was ending soon. The couple invited me to dinner later that night, and I got back to the office recounting my lunch break events to my friends. Joshua and L'Oreal seemed dead set on making me a homewrecker, going into the dinner, professing my love for the perfectly happy couple with a child. It seemed a bit inconsiderate, or thoughtless at the very least. Still, I wondered what it'd be like to have what they had. So after work, I went home, got dressed, rinsed my mouth out with mouthwash. I stood on the curb, edging onto the road. I was frozen. The sky was darkening, the lights in the red house were glowing just like a roaring fire. I had a flash of my dream, but something had changed. The red house was fire, burning bright. The flames seeped into my regular bland complexion, making me bright pink. I took a step. The flaming house erupted into laughter. A warm, inviting feeling permeated throughout me. It felt as if I was one with the surrounding landscape. The picket fences that usually made the neighborhood feel small and insignificant made me feel safe and infinite. I took another step. The safe, warm feeling was something I loved, something I was lacking for so long. It was love. I was feeling loved, and giving love. It was pulsing through me, my very being, and the air around me. It made me hopeful. With the thoughts of love and acceptance in the red house across from me, I walked all the way over to the door. I knocked. The child from earlier opened the door, and I walked in. The deep brown door on the red house shut behind me, and as I left my dark and dreary home, I was excited to finally be in a loving one.
That was beautiful. Bless the daughters who refuse to seek revenge amongst their fathers, whose pain runs deeper, the father, the abuser, or their daughter. Most importantly, whose death will be more traumatizing, the boy or the man's. When he yelled and terrorized her, she couldn't help but cry, not just for herself, but for the broken, severe boy inside. What's the difference between sculpting a victim and searching for one to save? Maybe if you only infused pain and called it love, they could become the same. The same tears, same forced fears, the same father that was never truly there, at least in the way she needed. For what's worse than a present father, the world asks. One who's only here in ways that benefit him, she cried. One who only loves under his conditions, but what he loves more than loving under his conditions is loving under his control. See, I grew up in a burning house my father demanded I call home. When 911 came in to take the fires out but poured gasoline instead of water, when the fire got too big, they retreated away. A house so far gone, CPS deemed it above their pay grade. He taught his daughter to never bite the hand that feeds her, but what about the hand that starves her? The one that takes, blames, calls her names? What about the hand that crumbled all her faith away? Bless this girl, bless this house that will never be a home, and bless this broken, fragile boy. And always, bless the daughters whose preferred form of revenge is healing from their fathers. Thank you. Thank you all so much. We are the youth with Youth Belong. Thank you.
Come on, y'all. Y'all can do better than that. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You are amazing. Youth Belong.
Da 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 da.